The rain hadn't started yet, but the skies over London looked like they might cry. Inside Clarence's house, Camilla stood by the window gripping a porcelain cup that had gone cold in her hands. Her reflection looked back at her, tired, polished, perfect on the outside. But beneath that flawless cream blouse and pinned hair was a woman on the brink. What was meant to be her moment of triumph, her final chapter rewrite, had unraveled in 30 seconds. A phone video, recorded by her own granddaughter, now spreading like wildfire. Eliza had never wanted to be part of the campaign. Camilla knew that. The 17-year-old had rolled her eyes during the planning meetings, dragged her heels when asked to dress up, and barely smiled for the camera. But Camilla thought she could manage it, like she'd managed everything else. A soft word here, a stern look there. Except this time, the soft word was ignored and the stern look was caught on camera. The clip of her scolding a young staffer and snapping at Eliza during the photo shoot wasn't supposed to exist. But it did, and it had gone viral. Across town, William was reading, not a newspaper, but the comment section under his latest family photo on X. Him, Kate, and the kids, barefoot in the grass at a community center. One of the top comments read, "This is what real family looks like. No fakeness, no drama." William didn't smile, but the corner of his mouth twitched. He hadn't leaked the video, he didn't need to. Eliza had done something the rest of them only dreamed of, cracked Camilla's armor from the inside. Back at Clarence's house, Camilla's communications team was in chaos. Half of them wanted to deny everything, the other half were prepping a statement about stress and a misunderstood moment, but Camilla didn't want spin, she wanted control. And the person who took that away from her was now sitting silently in the hallway, nervously scrolling her phone. Eliza. When Camilla finally called her in, the girl's eyes were red, but there was no fear, just fatigue. Camilla wanted to scream, to ask her why she would sabotage her own family, but she didn't. Instead, she spoke like she always did, slowly, calculated. "You will issue an apology," she said. "Today." Eliza looked down. "I didn't mean for it to spread," she said. "I was just angry. That anger has humiliated me," Camilla snapped, her voice cracking just slightly. "Do you understand what you've done?" Eliza nodded, but not like someone admitting guilt, more like someone who knew the punishment was already decided. By late afternoon, a video appeared on Clarence's house's social media. Eliza, dressed in a blue sweater, reading from a script. "I'm sorry for any misunderstanding," she said. "The clip doesn't show the full truth. My grandmother was under pressure. She always wants the best for the family, but it was too late. Comments poured in. She's being forced. Look at her eyes. This isn't an apology, it's a hostage tape. The apology didn't calm the storm, it fueled it. Instead of redeeming Camilla, it turned Eliza into a symbol, not just of rebellion, but of something deeper, a truth that had finally slipped through the royal filters. At Kensington, William closed his laptop. He wasn't celebrating, but he wasn't apologizing either. Camilla had tried to curate a narrative. Eliza had broken it with one click, and now the crown wasn't just under scrutiny, it was cracked. And everyone knew exactly where the fracture began. A low fire crackled in the corner of Gatcombe Park as Princess Anne slipped off her riding gloves and set them on the table. Her coat was still damp from the misty ride through the Gloucestershire fields, but she didn't mind. Her phone buzzed on the windowsill. Another update from the palace. Another wave of chaos. She didn't bother picking it up. Let them scramble. Let them panic. She had warned them. Not directly, of course, but through her absence, through her refusal to take part in the Harmony campaign. Anne didn't believe in fake smiles or filtered photos. She had built her place in the monarchy by simply showing up again and again to places most royals avoided. Charity barns, youth shelters, remote Commonwealth events. She'd been there, in rain boots and a worn scarf, shaking hands and listening to stories. She had never chased a camera, and yet there she was, front page news. A candid photo of her at a local school kneeling beside a child with paint on their nose had gone viral. The caption? "This is what royalty should look like." Camilla saw it too. She sat across from Charles, the photo open on her iPad. Anne didn't have to say a word, yet the public had crowned her the real deal. Camilla had tried to mold her image for years, sanding off the rough edges, polishing every sentence. Now, one raw moment from Eliza had undone all of it, and Anne's unbothered presence was driving the nail in deeper. Charles hadn't said much. He'd spent the morning in silence, flicking through newspapers with furrowed brows. His health was better, at least physically, but his energy had waned. He wasn't built for digital warfare, hashtags, leaks, viral clips. Camilla glanced at him, hoping for comfort, for alignment, for anything. But Charles just sighed. "We've made too much noise," he said, "and the noise has turned on us." She wanted to argue, to say Eliza was impulsive, William opportunistic, and passive-aggressive, but deep down, she knew the truth. They hadn't betrayed her. They had exposed what was already fragile. She had been holding the illusion together with photo ops and PR drafts. Eliza just let the cracks show. At Kensington, a new photo was cued. Kate sitting with Charlotte on a park bench reading a book about bees. No makeup, no staging, just a blur of natural light behind them. The caption read, "Curious minds make kind hearts." It trended in under an hour. No apology, no statement. Just a picture and silence. That was the strategy now. Let Camilla scramble. Let her push apology videos and press releases. William's camp wouldn't even comment on the scandal. They didn't have to. The public was already choosing sides. At Clarence's house, the atmosphere felt airless. Camilla's staff walked on eggshells, avoiding her eyes, answering only what was necessary. The press office had stopped trying to contain the story. Too many versions were out there now. Eliza the rebel, Camilla the manipulator, Charles the silent king. The truth didn't matter anymore. The narrative had taken on a life of its own. Eliza stayed home, blinds drawn, phone off. The initial rush, the messages, the support, had turned into exhaustion. She didn't want to be anyone's symbol. She just wanted to breathe without performing. Her mother, Laura, said little, only brought her tea, sat nearby, no lectures, no blame, just presence. And far from it all, Anne walked her fields again. No guards, no press, just the cold air and the satisfaction of knowing that sometimes doing nothing said more than any royal campaign ever could. The room was quiet, but it wasn't peace. Clarence's house, with its grand ceilings and polished wood, felt like a tomb. Camilla sat at her writing desk, a fountain pen in hand, the kind she used for holiday cards and thank you letters, but no words came. Across the table was a half-written note meant for Charles, a gesture, an explanation, maybe even an apology. But she couldn't finish it. Not because she didn't know what to say, but because it wouldn't matter. Not anymore. The royal press office had gone into blackout mode. All inquiries about the video were met with no comments. Every request for Eliza or Camilla was politely declined. But silence didn't kill the story. It fed it. In the absence of answers, the public made their own. Camilla was the villain, Eliza the truth teller, William and Kate the golden couple, and Anne was the steady hand, the unscripted proof that the monarchy didn't need cameras to matter. Charles noticed the shift even if he didn't say much. During breakfast, he glanced up from his tea and muttered, "They're comparing us to them again." Camilla didn't ask who they were. She didn't have to, she knew. William's team had released another set of candid photos, this time Kate teaching George to bake at a local community kitchen. A smear of flour on her cheek, George giggling beside her. The caption read, "Messy, loud, real, just like family." Camilla didn't even finish her toast. Meanwhile, Eliza hadn't left the house in days. Her bedroom looked like a cave of quiet resistance. Curtains drawn, clothes on the floor, school books untouched. She scrolled through her messages when no one was looking. Support poured in from strangers, mixed with criticism from royalists and quiet pleas from her own family to stop engaging. She hadn't replied to anyone, not even Laura, who now knocked gently before entering, treating her daughter like a porcelain figure, delicate, breakable, unpredictable. But Eliza wasn't breakable. She was tired of cameras, of rules, of pretending to smile while being told to stand just a little more to the left. All she wanted was to be unseen. But the internet had other plans. Her face was everywhere. Headlines debated her intentions, pundits psychoanalyzed her expression, youth groups called her brave, news outlets called her careless. None of them knew her. At Buckingham Palace, the Queen's portrait hung as always, smiling down from the hallway like nothing had changed. But beneath her gaze, the institution had shifted. Conversations were happening behind closed doors, not about succession or diplomacy, but about relevance. The monarchy had always controlled its image. Now a teenager had shown that one slip was enough to derail everything. And not because she hated the crown, but because she didn't believe in fake smiles. Anne returned from another quiet event. No photographers, no staged lighting, just a speech to a group of exhausted nurses and a round of handshakes. As her car pulled into Gatcombe Park, she looked out the window, expression unreadable. She didn't say much about what had unfolded, but when asked by a reporter, she gave a dry smile and said, "Families have bumps, ours just happens to be televised." In the heart of the storm, Camilla closed the notebook she hadn't written in and stood. The garden outside was gray, the last of the roses wilting. There was no press release coming, no campaign to fix what had cracked. The only thing left was the silence, and in that silence, the truth settled. Not the one she tried to create, but the one that revealed itself without her permission.